And welcome, guys. Now, as many of you have known, I do a lot of programming tutorials, but many of you actually ask me, how do you rig a set of arms and get a first-person, game going for models? And a lot of times, I would kind of be like, oh, it's coming, it's coming. Well, today is the day where we will discuss how to rig these arms and get them working in such a fashion. Now, this isn't like anybody else's tutorial, so if you're interested in something that's completely fully automatic, you're probably not going to get it from this video. But you may actually like this video because it's going to go over many of the problems that I run into when I'm modeling for something like this. And you're probably looking, well, this character has no head. The head really doesn't matter. I mean, you could wave paint the head in like 5 seconds because basically one bone controls the entire head. Or if you want something that does lips and all that other stuff, once you get the idea of how this arm moves, you're going to know how all of it moves to be able to do any of it. And besides, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to use bones and stuff like that for the face anyway. You're going to look into shape keys and stuff like that, which we may get into later on if I decide that I'm going to need it. And 2, this model is for the Underdog project, but I seen an opportunity to make a tutorial on how a few things work. Now, in our little tutorial that we've got here, we are going to discuss what I run into when I try to use the Blender rig things, okay, when it comes to adding a rig. Armature, single, human, medi-rig. Yes, human medi-rig, right here. Okay, now it goes, and all this stuff has to do a orthographic top view. Oh, that was so bad. R180. And now we've got what we're supposed to have. Cursor is going to be 0, 0, 0. So bad. So bad. This is why I don't use medi-rigs, and I just do it all on the entirety of. So let's do this again. And we will scale up this way. Okay, now we have a medi-rig L, and we will row. It did not select those as well. Really? And you select the wrong thing. Wow, that is so fucking unuseful. You are so going to irritate me, aren't you? This is why I don't use this shit. I just do it manually. I will probably end up deleting those bones for animating myself because that's how I roll. Okay, why can't I select links? I know you're linked. Hello? That's weird. Oh, that's so not cool. Alright. And he's somewhere in there. And like anything, it's probably going to need a little bit of backing. So take this one. If this one's probably doing it, the other one's probably as well. Orthographic. Not on the back, not on the top. You're on the right. That will work. And we just want it to be so very, very close to being there. Okay. So that's all good. So let's get to the top here. Now the shoulder is exactly where it needs to be for the most part. I'm okay with that, but this one is not. And I would really like it if I can go linked and road. Okay. You are a pain in my butt. Come on, Handbones. Work with me here. Okay? This is why I don't do other people's kind of ways. I do it my own way. Because everybody's got their own little looky-loo stuff that they do. Mine is I much rather just go through and rig these myself. But traditionally what I've done in the past, this is what I really enjoy doing instead of this, is just take my entire rig, and while I'm modeling, I actually just make the rig with my model. Like if I was making these hands right now, I would literally make the hand, the everything all in one go. And that would be my thing. I mean, dead serious. I would so just make the rig as I'm modeling. Because it's so much easier and you get yourself away from the timing and everything. Because you're spending so much time on doing it. It gets so boring. So naturally what you do is you just mix it up a little. Right? And when you mix it up a little that way, you don't notice it's so dull and unruly on it. I shouldn't say unruly. I should say more or less like completely, utterly boring out the skull. Because this takes... where's your active points? I want it to be the 3D cursor. Rotate on the 3D cursor. Yes, there we go. Oh, man. Gets so much easier if I would have done it my way versus this way. Okay, so that's pretty much in there. And I'm just going to do this over and over. And I think I'll put a cut in, a slight pause in here. Because this is actually quite boring and no one wants to watch this part. Because all I'm doing is basically positioning bones. And for the most part, here's what you want to do. This part right here is the part that turns. You want it a little bit in between here where your bones are actually going to be. Okay, so this is where your finger moves, right? Your finger moves here. Okay, just look at your hand, and that's where your finger moves. So that's where you want your joint, the thing that turns, there. And when you do that, you'll come up with a pretty good little scenario of doing the hands. Now, I don't think I'm going to. Actually, I'm just not even going to care about that part. And no, actually, I probably should. I mean, I'm already halfway there and stuff. I mean, it wouldn't be that bad probably to get that going for the whole finger part. A little tip when you're doing this and everything else, once you get these where you want them, go and highlight all of them like this and hit H. Okay, now this doesn't delete the bone or anything like that, it just hides the bone. Okay, so it may not be in your way again, right? And that's the most important thing in one way, is just it's not in your way, you can move and all that stuff. Now another thing is, these bones are designed to go up and down, up, down, up, down, and that's it, like real bones. That's why I model my hand in such a way that he's like this, because that's the way my bones are going to move. I don't want no twisty, turny, or anything really silly in there, because that would just ruin it. Okay? And that's not what I want to do. Now, a lot of times I'll see people, they don't have these bones here. You don't really need them, because this bone pretty much takes care of all the mesh right here. But I like to keep them because if you get some weird like knuckle thing where you're trying to make a fist, it kind of helps to shape it a little. Okay? Now, I don't know if you're going to do some hand crazy stuff or whatnot, but it's nice to know that it's an option. And I think this needs individual origins. Okay. And X-ray is off. And that's pretty much it. I mean, it's not rocket science on how to do this, but for the most part, you just need to, like, you can actually not even have the bones on the inside. I've seen some rigs where they're on the outside. You just have to make sure the bones are close enough where, it makes sense visually. I mean, you could probably have them off in the middle of nowhere and really wouldn't matter, I guess. But it's just freaking weird to me. I've seen, like, the actual rig be on the outside of the mesh, like, completely. You just have to know how it's weighted and things. I mean, it's not rocket science, but after you get this done, all you're going to do, for the most part, is just take your guy, your meta rig, and parent it to the mesh. Yeah, we could probably do that and it won't hurt none. I'm going to save before I do that. Save! And mesh to the rig itself? Ah, yes. We use the mesh and then go to the second thing that you select is that. And you'll do automatic weights, because this will help you get a platform so you can do automatic weights. Sometimes it does good, sometimes it does bad, but for the most part it usually does pretty okay. Like, we'll do it right here, and then it will do that, and then you have a skin mesh. It'll do things, and if I go into wave paint, if we go into our medi rig here and go into armature, and then we hit spine. No, we hit spine first and then go on. Wait, where's my... Oh, there's my wave paint. Okay. I was like, spine, thighs. Spine goes to the chest, and the chest bone should have weights on it, right? Why is it doing that for? I want my wave painting too. Oh, it will let me. So where's the weights for this then? Preserve weights? Why can't I see these? Oh, it's using vertex groups? Oh, I'm so stupid. Where's my vertex groups? Where's my vertex groups? Where's the vertex groups? Ah, here we go. Ah, that's what I'm missing. I was like, wait a minute. I remember doing this. Yeah, here we go. You got to select a vertex group. I was trying to select up to here. It's been a while since I did this because it's different in Maya and other programs. So this bone right here is this vertex group. Okay, so we paint this crap in to where we want, and if I select this bone, we can actually move it in such a way that's probably unnormal and stuff, but you know, you'll have that. And if we don't like the way this turns right here, we can actually literally physically paint this out, and it will no longer have an effect. We can literally go, hey, guess what? I want no weight whatsoever. I was thinking... Okay, and it will actually make it where it literally has no weights whatsoever. Now, this might be something that you want, I don't know, but let's go down to the fingers. This is the thing that I was talking about. This finger right here has a vertex group, and when we rotate it, it has influence. See, the reddest is the most influence, and green and everything else. Now, you notice this is blue, but it still rotates. It's because of the parent and child relationship, okay? This entire thing moves because of that. But if we go to this bone right here, it will break off in some weird fashion and everything. And that's okay, I guess, but for the most part, we do need to straighten these up. But that's why I said, most of the time, I make these one bone at a time and just start creating instead of massively doing this. But the auto painting stuff is okay. And that's, for the most part, that's how you do it. You model your group. You place these where your joints are. Okay? And you make sure it's inside the mesh pretty good. I mean, if it comes out a little bit, it'll probably be fine. Just a teeny bit. But if it's majorly like this right here, where it's just outside of the mesh, it's not going to do auto painting of weights very well. So my advice, just take your time. And when you get to this part, if the bone doesn't work as you want, go up here, you turn the weight strength way the hell down. I'm talking like way down. So when you get to this part, you're like, oh, this bone shouldn't do this. So let's just paint this stuff out. Subtract it, auto normalize. Sometimes works good. And you just paint this out slowly but gradually. You can give it a lot more strength if you know. But for the most of the time, what I do, and this is no joke, is I put my strength right here all the way down. And I just slowly creep. So when I go into weight paint, and I start rotating, oh, that's more like it. It's more, but notice how my bone's like way the hell out there and it looks stupid. Well, you know, that's just the way it is when it happened. When it got parented and stuff. You can fix it if you go into, I believe, edit mode and just rotate the bones, I believe. But I just suggest you fix it before you parent it to there. And I also believe, I'm not too sure about this, if we go into here, when we go to the player, which is the mesh, and we try to click on the rig again and hit Control P with automatic weights, I do believe it'll recalculate all this stuff until you can actually get a very good spot. But you might get double the vertex groups or whatnot. I don't believe you will. I think it's pretty smart not to do that. Yeah, I don't think it will. But as you can notice, it will do wave paint. Wave paint. Okay, so I've got this open and it does it now. Okay, that's what was going on. So it looks like it's doing it again, you know, all the weights. But that's how the automatic weight system works. So naturally, if you added a bone and you wanted to take all the influence away, just paint it out. And it'll, you know, do what it's supposed to. But that's pretty much wave painting in itself and how you get a rig in there. I'm sorry if it didn't do the whole thing. I don't think it's necessary for me to go through the entire procedure and show you exactly how it works. I'm just going to give you a basic rundown. This gives you more than enough information to get it going, okay? And two, there's a lot of tutorials out here to do exactly like this. I just don't recommend a lot of them because they don't show you that, hey, if this doesn't work, what can I do about it? They're like, oh, you can change the strength and stuff like that, and you know, I'm like, well, that doesn't help. That doesn't help. Wait a minute, why is this not painting off? Forearm. Hello. Subtract. Okay, it's the normalizing part. Okay. They're like, they never show you this part, you know, painting this stuff off, or just flat jack painting it entirely. That's really weird looking. Wonder why it's like that for. Object. That's really weird. So if I put mix back in there and like start painting in there, it'll fix that. That's really interesting. I mean, I've played around with wave painting before, but I never realized it would change it that way. That's kind of cool. And scary at the same time. Like, I can mess up my own model just by painting it red or painting no weights whatsoever. Ha ha! That's really weird. Like, this model right here, if I took this off, like, just straight up subtracted it. And there's blur and other stuff, lighten, darken, blah, blah, blah. If I take all this off, it shouldn't do that crap, right? It shouldn't do that crap. I mean, I literally have no idea why it's doing that for. Like, with no weights whatsoever. That's all I'm doing is taking the weights off. And I have no knowledge of why it's doing that for. Okay? That doesn't make sense to me. I mean, well, no, it still doesn't make sense to me. But I guess if that's the way it is, right? Weird stuff happens all the time. Nothing is perfect. But I think that's pretty much a broken thing right there. I think that's... Wait. I'm supposed to be going... What? Okay. That's kind of stupid. And weird at the same time. But okay. Whatever. Multi-paint. Okay. But that's wave painting by itself on how to wave paint and how to rig your rig. You can do these individual bones. You don't have to do it through the rig. You can literally click on the edit, click on one of these bones, and you can actually extrude off one of these bones and do something with it. No, I want bones. What are you doing? I want bones. Extrude. Edit. Extrude. Yeah, there we go. You can extrude off one of these bones and, you know, do something with IK. I've got videos on IK and, you know, kind of like the bone relationship part. Child, bone, influence, that kind of thing. But the wave painting is exactly what it's important to take from this video. Now, I am going to probably go and sit on stream and, you know, try to get these bones to work exactly the way I want, which will probably take me freaking like 3 hours. And like I said, I don't think you want to sit here for 3 hours watching me do all these little bones and get them exactly the way I want, you know, because I have my personal preferences and everyone's different. Like some of these bones that they added on the feet down here, I will probably delete because I don't use these damn things. And the only reason they use these things is to do something weird like this. Move the foot around and that stuff and grab and yeah. I don't want these damn things around. These are mostly for like IK stuff. I don't care. I don't want it. So, I'm going to say, peace out, guys. Thanks for watching. I know it's not the most exciting video in the world, but for the most part, it's what you kind of need to know to get these rigs off the ground. Okay?